So to start with, just want to take a closer look at the watch, and also as I do that, just go through the specification. So first of all, it's a diver's watch and it's limited to 200 pieces. So let's start with the case. The case is 316L stainless steel. So the size is 45.5 millimeters diameter, 52 millimeters lug to lug, and 22 millimeters actual lug width. So that's the actual strap size. The thickness is 16.2 millimeters. So just going to take a close look at the case, and as you can see, it's typical BOLDR. It's got the sharp angles, and I like that. Watches that I have, like the Seiko Samurai, have that sort of shape. It's quite modern, and as I turn that around, you can actually see that it comes out there for the crown guard, which is a good idea. It's got quite a big crown on that one, so bring that out a little bit. It's quite nice, protects that crown. It's sunken in that little bit. And if I just turn that over, and we can see on the back it's got the Kraken, the same as my Odyssey 3 diver. So that's the mystic sea creature. The Kraken is perfect for the BOLDR watch. It's that sort of be bolder, sort of tough philosophy, and from their website, it's a symbol of the mysterious, deep, and facing the fear of the unknown. The lens is a sapphire crystal with, it's actually double domed, and it's got an inner anti-reflective coating. Good choice for such a tough dive watch. You need that, the strongest material going for this sort of thing, which is sapphire crystal. And if you just look at that from the side, you can see that just slightly stands up, and that's really good. Again, helps with the sort of protection. If you also, the bezel itself is actually sapphire crystal, which I think is a really good choice. Again, to go with this sort of very, make it really tough and everything. It's a typical for a dive watch, 120 click unidirectional. The action and the alignment on it is excellent. So let's just have a look at that one. So this is the action of the bezel. You can hear that nice click, and you could look that way you want. So let's just turn that all the way around. The watch itself is 500 meters water resistant, and to help this, it has two added features, which is the crown is got 3 rubber seals inside. So that is what they call treble lock sealing. So you can see the crown. The crown itself is nice and big. Comes out and it operates really easily. It's not wobbly or anything, as you can see. And so the idea is that, as you go down, dive into deeper and into sort of saturation diving territory, that treble lock will, stop water coming in, and hopefully to some extent stop helium coming in. But helium, as you do get deeper, the pressure, helium can still get into the watch. And so if I turn that around, it's got the helium escape valve on the other side opposite to the crown, and the idea is that any helium that has got into the watch, as you come back up from the dive, it can escape from that, so it doesn't sort of cause problems with pressure. Let's take a close look at the actual dial itself. And as you can see, it's got that pattern on that. It's a kind of dark grey colour. So the dial on this one is natural meteorite, and as you may know, natural meteorite is sort of more of a silver colour. So this has been darkened, and that lovely grey. Now, it doesn't stand out. If it was just left completely natural, it would stand out quite a lot more. So it is quite subtle. So at times, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't probably know it from a distance. But as it catches the light, you can see that, and that's a really great effect. So I think that's really good. To think it's got meteorite, which actually sort of was from 4 billion years ago, actually on the dial, I think is amazing, to be totally honest. And you can see the date is at the 6 o'clock position, which I personally think is probably about the best position on a watch. It keeps the balance of the watch, and it's really good the way that they've sort of kept it the same as the sort of size as the other indices by putting a small bit of the 6 o'clock indice on there, and then putting the date above that, so that's really keeping that in uniform and shape with the rest of the watch. The indices themselves, they stand out, and they've got loom. The loom is Swiss loom, and that's also on the hands. It's been applied, and on you can see a little bit on the second hand where that's also applied on the square bit, and it's really good loom. It's the I think the nice one, the blue one, and also the bezel itself is also loomed. The movement is the Meteorite 9015, which I think is a good choice of movement. It's reliable movement, and it's got a nice smooth second hand sweep due to the 28,800 vibrations per hour. It's well known, and it's so obviously servicing is going to be no problem by most watchmakers. BOLDR do regulate all their watches before and after assembly, which I think is really good, credit to them. And so my watch is actually running 5 seconds faster a day, which I think is really good for that movement. So the bracelet, the integrated bracelet it comes with is 316L steel. It has quick release. So you can see there's no need for drill lugs. You probably couldn't anyway because of the sort of angled shape of the case, but there's no need. And that's just squeeze this together, and you can just sort of push that out, pull that out, or push it back in, and that's great. If you do want to swap, a recommendation if you wanted to take the bracelet off would be that BOLDR do actually sell really excellent quality rubber straps. So there's one design for this which just like this bracelet fits perfect to the lugs. They actually do rubber strap which actually fits the same, and again that is quick release, so you could, no tools required, swap one for the other. And I think the rubber straps would be excellent during the day when you're on the beach, in the water, that sort of thing. You're doing water sports or just any sports, or just going up in the mountains, etc. And the steel bracelet, certainly for in the evenings, going out and that sort of thing, I think so that gives you that sort of flexibility. And I think I will in time buy the rubber. At the minute I'm really enjoying the bracelet, and I think this is certainly the best quality bracelet I've ever had, and so I'm sort of finding it very difficult to even contemplate taking the bracelet off at the minute. So you can see all these links are separate, and the way they move and everything is absolutely great, and it is fairly chunky bracelet, which is perfect for the watch. So I've had a really good look at the watch, but I will just sort of look at the pros overall, the cons, and then give my final thoughts on the watch. So for the pros, to start with, I think the beautiful dark grey Meteorite dial is definitely one of the main attractions of getting this particular one. If you don't want the Meteorite dial, there are other variations of this one, again all limited to 200. But I think with the Meteorite, I think the shade, for me, the shade of grey is absolutely perfect. It is quite on trend as well. That sort of dark grey at the minute is quite a popular colour, and I think just the fact it's Meteorite. The bracelet is excellent. It's like I say, screwed links. It looks good. It's it catches the light. It's quite chunky, which matches the bracelet. Quick release, and to me, it's by far the best quality bracelet I've ever had. I really do love that bracelet. It's a tough 500 meter diver watch. It's got all the things like helium escape valve. It's got the triple lock crown. It's the bezel is another one. Just spot on all the alignment and the action of that. And I did say it had got a sapphire, sapphire, the insert is sapphire, but it's actually the rest of it's steel, and it's got quite sort of big cutout bits that you can ease to grip and to turn around and everything. And that would also be applicable if you're wearing gloves and things when you are diving and everything. So I think that's perfect. The overall quality, I think, is really good. I think this is the top of what BOLDR do, and they've really put the quality into this watch, I think it's absolutely, you know, and certainly for the sort of price, it's absolutely excellent. The actual features on this watch and the overall materials used are, you know, again, fantastic. It's got really high specification. It's a limited edition of 200, which I always like. I always think it's really nice to have a limited edition, not known that, you know, lots out there. And I think certainly if you're into micro brands, that's one thing that you probably will like about micro brands, where you look at some of the other watches, like, you know, you take something like the Tudor Black Bay, you know, you've only got it on Instagram, you know, every other person's got one of them. You know, it's for me, that's probably the last thing I want. I just want something that's a little bit different. And, you know, so I think the limited 200, not only is it micro brand, but it's limited within that. And I think the Miyota 9015, again, is a good movement. It's got a quite high beat rate, good accuracy, good reliable movement, and pretty, you know, reasonable to get sorted, get serviced, and a good cost. So they are my main pros, but like I say, as I went through this, I did, you know, mention quite a few. With cons, difficult for me to find many cons. I think for some people, it's probably going to be the size of the watch. It is 45.5 millimeters, and it's just over 16 millimeters thick. But it you know, as you can see from the video, when you see that on my wrist, it hugs the wrist, and I can't believe it's that thick. It wears better than most of my watches that are like, you know, 13, 14 millimeters thick. And again, with the size, it just wears it. You know, you've got to try it on, because I think the dimensions are quite misleading. To me, it wears really well. The weight on the bracelet without any links taken out, I think it's down on specifications 235 grams, which is definitely heavy. But I think it's worth pointing out that, you know, one thing you can do is buy the you know, if you're going to wear it sort of all day and you're going to go out on, you know, on the beach and in the sea and things, I think they do sell, so BOLDR do sell an actual rubber strap which fits perfect, and again, quick release, and the bracelet's quick release, so you can swap between the two. I'm planning on doing that eventually. I'm finding it hard to take it off the bracelet because I so love the bracelet. It's such a great bracelet. So at the minute, I'm not rushing out to buy the rubber, but I think as we get towards, you know, the summer, and I'm thinking spending more time wanting to do more water sports and go on the beach and things, that it'd be nice to have an alternative. And I can certainly see myself wearing this watch quite a lot of the time. For me, this has become my favourite watch in my own collection, so I would highly recommend this watch.